Hey, how you doing, everybody? We're gonna do a bit of a technology test because Dan decided to fight me for the stream, and he was doing a crypto live stream at the same time I was supposed to be starting this stream. So naturally, we're a bit frazzled trying to get everything going, check the technologies, and make sure everyone is happy. Streaming to quite a few places today, so I will be looking that way more than I should. But it looks like audio is okay. Everything seems to be going good. Hey, Monday. Robert Warmer, hello. All right, welcome to our first public weekly wrap-up. What I intend to do with this program, and hopefully we will do it every Friday afternoon, is to take a little time and look at the week that we have had just passed and spend a little time preparing for the week ahead. What we're going to do is review our major indices. We're going to check out the VIX. We're going to check out some sectors, the dollar, Bitcoin, NASDAQ, and just get a quick recap of what happened and get ready for the week ahead. Part of that process is going to be inviting you guys to share swing setups. If you have something that you'd like to look at and get a second set of eyes on it for you, I'm happy to do that. We'll go for about 45 minutes today until the market closes, and then we'll see where we end up. All right. Tell us about the dollar. I will do that. I promise. Okay. All right. What is important, though, we have 45 minutes left in the day. We have traders who are active in the TheChartGuys community and beyond, wondering what the heck is going on right now. So let's take a look at context, figure out where we are with SPY, QQQ. We'll check out some short-term internals. Then we'll shift gears a little bit back into our weekly wrap-up and more of a macro summary of what's happened. All right, so SPY right now, 15-minute time frame. We saw a quick pop, and we broke our 396.70 high of day, and we're pushing a little bit higher, trying to set 15-minute higher lows. And this was really cool because we had two options on this play. We had our ADD bull divergence on the NYSE internals. We'll talk a little bit about that because I'm sure there's some brand new faces. Did I even introduce myself? My name's Jason, by the way. I see some people who've never seen me before. Very possible. I co-founded TheChartGuys with Dan like 1,000 years ago, and usually I just lurk around in the community. But I decided, hey, why not do a little streaming as well? Okay, so that's out of the way. Nice to meet you. Hopefully we'll see you again. We are looking at those market internals. That was our first clue. And what was cool about that is we had a little bit of a laggard reaction on our QQQ side. So you had two opportunities to play this short-term break. Anyway, let's go look at that. SPX 500 USD. That's the corollary for our futures chart. So we saw our little break. We got our 5-minute higher low pushing back up into a 5-minute overbought. So this green line here, that tells me when our RSI is 70 on whatever time frame I'm looking at. So we hit overbought conditions. We're pulling back, trying to get 5-minute higher lows. So what was our clue? That's really what we want to know. Going over to our ADD now. On our internals, this was what I was watching. So I'll save you the rundown of the ADD unless people have internals questions, but I think most of you guys know what it is. If you don't, feel free to say, I don't know what it is, and then I will happily talk about it in a little bit more detail. But what we can see here, and we got to compare our two charts again. Over here is our ADD, and over here is our SPY price. Let's go get that highlighter. Beautiful highlighter. Here we can see higher lows and higher lows. Here we have a low and a lower low. At the same time, our ADD is setting a higher high and a higher low. What that means is we have market divergence toward the upside, and price is saying, hey, we're going to go this way. Except it can't do that. If the entire market behind the SPY is saying we're feeling a little bit feisty, we've had some Dr. Pepper today, we want to go higher, SPY is going to follow. In most cases, SPY is going to follow. So we see that bull divergence. We break our 1590 level, and we just go right up to that 15-minute higher high. And now we're at 397.25 as that level. On the QQQ side of things, we had a little bit of a lag. Where'd you go? There you are. All right. So we didn't have that same level of bull divergence. Let's go to the 2-minute time frame. Where are we? Didn't look into as much detail. I've been trading the SPY today. So here is our low, Oh, we did have a tiny bit. We did have a tiny bit of bull divergence. Same idea, break, and off we go. Now we're in ADD equilibrium, and we're trying to set 15 5-minute higher low. So where are we going for the rest of the day? Well, the internals are saying that we're feeling peppy, but we're happy with where we are right now. That extreme tick that we saw on the nights is not really sustainable type of behavior. It's hard for bulls to stay up, like hitting the buy button as fast as they can over and over and over again. We tend to fade back toward the mean, which is a zero line on our tick. So all we're trying to do right now is maintain these 5-minute higher lows, and we are in this area of a battle on the 5 and 15-minute time frame. We've come up to this range once, twice, 3 times. Now we're fourth inside that chop. So I'm pretty happy with what the bulls have pulled off so far. All they need to do to maintain control is to stay over the 39.57 level, or on SPY, we're right down here, 39.14, 395.14. That's the level for them. Okay, so we can just keep that marked in if you want. Why not? Let's do it. And until then, bulls are in control. If we can break to a new high, then we got ourselves a new 5-minute higher low. That is our context for our QQQ chart, peeps. What are we looking at? Ooh, it starts to look a little bull flaggy up here, doesn't it? When I see that move up and then down and that low and push back up, that tells me that the bears don't have the sustain that we would like them to have. I can also see that this is going to be a very difficult thing to draw right now, to call it a bear flag or a bull flag. And maybe it's more of a wedge. If it's a wedge, then I'm just trying to get back up to 292.41. We'll reassess at that point. And I can't really draw it any other way. All right. Glad to have you. Now you've seen a little bit about myself and how I talk about the charts, and thus far you haven't experienced a great tangent, which I'm kind of known for doing. I like to have a little personal touch on streams. Usually I'm used to talking to my community guys and my friends right in the chart guys, so it tends to get a little chatty once in a while. Hopefully that's okay with you. If it's not, then well, Lori and Dan are all business. Okay, we make our stream. We got some questions about gold, the dollar. Absolutely, we will get to those. I also see a lot of ticker questions coming in. We don't talk about Bruno or ADD. You guys are the best. Oh yeah, YouTube friends. I posed this question earlier in the midday stream. Today is the day. My 16-year-old daughter is bringing home her first boyfriend to meet the family. And I'm looking for entertaining ways to make this very memorable. So far, my top suggestions are to have 3 or 4 friends in suits just hang out in the house, in the living room, and not say anything. Or introduce them to my pigs in the backyard. Have a little farm. Lots of potentialities. We'll see what happens. I'll let you know. I'll post some updates in the community. All right. So we've got our snapshot, a little bit of what's going on here in the short term, and we got some levels to work with. I'm just happy with what the bulls have pulled off, frankly. And if they are able to stay here, well, the question is, what does it mean if they're able to stay here? Are we still in our big old megaphone? Where are we in the grand context of the weekly time frame and the daily time frame and so on? All right, good question. Let's start with our macro analysis. So what we're going to do for the macro analysis is a few things. First, we're going to check out the NASDAQ. We're going to check out the SPX on the weekly and down. We're going to check out the Dow, and we're going to check out the Russell. We're going to spend some time looking at some sectors and some rotation, VIX, dollar, Bitcoin. We'll look at some gassy boys because those ones have been interesting as well. Gold, let's put gold back on the map. Bring it over here. And at that point, we'll have a little bit of time for some tickers, I hope. Hopefully, it won't be like last week, and I just chatted all the way through the macros before really getting to our ticker requests. Okay, let's do it. So last week, we were really nicely set up because we had those weekly inside bars, and we were noting that I believe it was the SPX was sort of in balance, the Dow was sort of in balance. What we had more notable balance, those inside bars on the IWMs or the Russell 2000 or the US 2000 if you're looking at the CFDs. And we had the weekly inside bars on the NASDAQ. So the weekly inside bar clearly broke. That was Tuesday's monumental work And we see that like the outflows on the internals for Tuesday, if we go back here on both of our internals, look at the volume on Tuesday, just pinned down, sideways, sideways. And even this is not nearly as strong an outflow as Tuesday was. So we're sort of coming into grips with what the reaction was, and we're starting to see periods of bullish pressure, and that pressure is coming in the form of this little like slowly reversing volume on the internal side of things. And I realize we're looking at the NYSE, but we're also seeing some green tickers coming back into the market, a little bit of life coming back in. So what I would like to see would be for that strength to continue and for this to be a nice touch of the confluence of our EMA 12 and 26 on the weekly time frame. We have taken out our first target, which is a previous week's low, and we've still got quite a ways to go to get the next weekly low knocked out. We do have a stair-step pattern down, but we do have weekly support. So I'd like to see some short-term strength in this area on the daily time frame. Maybe we can carry some of this effort that we put into the intraday today and carry that over into the daily candlestick and see that strength follow through, perhaps. But we are in an area of support, and we have quite a bit more distance to go. Maybe it won't be that far when we actually look at the daily hourly time frame, but that's more effort. It's going to take the bears quite a bit more work to do to get down to that level to knock out the next weekly low and trigger in more weekly players to the downside. All right. The job's done. The bulls, the bears have completed the side quest that they were given on the weekly time frame. They've knocked out last week's support. They flushed down. They scared some people. Daily time frame, we're now in a daily downtrend, right? We got our little high here. And we got our low. What we're going to look for is hourly trend changes. We're going to be oversold in some places. Four's got to be getting close. It was. Okay. Now we're looking for 4-hour lower highs. We're looking for hourly strength, which we're seeing. So we are, debatedly, we're hourly neutral. We're hourly neutral, right? We have definitely a 15-minute uptrend, no doubt about that. Hourly neutral, and we are looking for 4-hour lower highs. So the bulls are not ready to really shift yet. In fact, anything under that 12,232.2 level, impressed I was able to say that number, aren't you? We're looking for 4-hour lower highs. So I would like to see that little bounce continue. If we're able to pull that off, let's see what it looks like. I like to draw these out because then it gives me a good clue about what to look for going into the week. So let's say we get a big old push. And we come back down. That fits the bill. That gives us a good daily low, or a good daily inside bar, perhaps. And it gives us a good little opportunity to set a daily higher low over that nice weekly EMA touchdown here. So that is one possibility among many, but right now that's the most likely, assuming we can carry any sort of strength into next week. On the hourly time frame, we got to be cautious about this being a bear flag structure, in which case we're just looking for another drop down, basically treated as a 4-hour inside bar and a daily inside bar. It's not as likely. Yes, 4-hour inside bar will give us that clue. So right now, let's watch this range. And how long do we have to close that candle? Hour and 32 minutes. Yeah, I think we'll be able to close that as a 4-hour inside bar. Okay, big mixed bag for the NASDAQ. It's all about this weekly support level. Let's see if we can get some good clues from that 4-hour time frame going into next week. I would love to open mid-range again. It would set us up for a weekly inside bar again, but that would be a good opportunity for the bulls. Be a bit choppy, but good opportunity nonetheless. Let's see. Some questions, get some TLT. You know what? Free web, thank you. I'm going to post TLT in my main chat that I watch for myself so I don't miss it. Okay, let's go quickly peek back over at the SPX and SPY. Still struggling in that mid-range. Okay, any major changes on the internals? Nope, slightly. Some bull divergence here and still some here. So notice still our ADD is climbing where our QQ or our SPY is getting lower highs. ADD is getting higher highs. Volume is flowing in. So this is still slightly supportive of bulls right now. If you guys ever have any questions about my ramblings, feel free to jump in the chat. ask those questions. Let's see if we can hide those drawings. Hide everything. No, because I need to draw those. I just don't want to delete everything because it's getting real cluttered on the weekly. You know what? Let's do it. Get out of here. Whoops. Let's take a look at the SPX. So this is as close as you can get to the futures chart without paying for futures data. You type in SPX 500 USD and you get yourself a CFD for the same information. The numbers are going to be a little bit different. Let's go see the monthly. Monthly inside bar broke bullish, but had a reversal, so we got to be paying particular attention to the low. We got not enough time left in the week, in the month to worry about it really. So what we need to do for the bulls is we want bulls to set a weekly high or low here. We're not going to know if that's really going to matter until probably March, but we're trying to look for daily reversals, daily signs of strength as well. On the weekly time frame, we have this little low that is lined up really well with today's low. There's probably another reason in there why that level mattered so much, but the 4-hour time frame is telling us we are looking for 4-hour lower highs, just like we are on the NASDAQ. And on the hourly time frame, we're leading a little bit here. So the SPX was stronger than the QQQ on that initial run, and it looks a little less bear flaggy than our NASDAQ does. We're still looking for 4-hour lower highs. You know, I'm going to call this one 4023.4. EMA 12 and 26 are going to be real contenders for some slowdown. And I'm a little bit cautious about a wedge type formation here. It looks nice and tight on the hourly time frame. It seems to be tightening up anyway. And then I'm just going to go and draw like that. And then assume it's a parallel line like there. So as long as bulls are in this pattern, they're doing okay. Again, we have overbought conditions right above us, the screen line. If the price gets there, that's going to be overbought in the 15-minute time frame. Bulls so far holding on, trying to get enough room to buy a 4-hour higher low. So all they need to do is grind this out, buy enough room for a 4-hour higher low, and then they have some opportunity to change the trend. Big core weekly levels for us right now are this 394, 39.43, and 39.42 areas of support. Lose that, and we don't have much of anything to go down to 37.63. A bunch of these hourly or 4-hour lows, sure, for weekly lows, but there are almost certainly somewhere 4-hour lows in there. Good, good. All right. Bonnie, you're so sweet. Here I am just wanting to mess with this poor boy, and you're giving me actual good advice. I'll be nice to him. I'm sure he's somebody's son, right? So it's got to be okay. I hope. At least I got to trust my daughter's got a nice boy, right? That's the key. Okay. Well, let's go take a look at our other indices. Let's speed it up a little bit because we've already spent 15 minutes. Okay, so Dow Jones had a little bit of a broadening formation on the hourly time frame. We can see that with our bullish engulfing candlestick. So when a candlestick is bigger and it can eat the preceding one, we call that engulfing. It ate it. The opposite of that is going to be an inside bar that fits inside the other one. A harami, we used to call them back in the day. Now we see that the bears have control. Now they've knocked out a lot of supports on the way down. Our last one here is 32,468.6. So again, a little bit of a ways away, probably lining up pretty well with that weekly low on the NASDAQ. Nope. What is the context of that? Way further. Oh my goodness. Okay. Bulls need to hold on to that. If we can, and there's a big if we can hold and get a higher low on the daily time frame above that, it's going to give us a little bit of cause and a little bit of hope that we're going to continue inside this weekly balance. Daily time frame, not giving us much to work with right now. We can see that expanding range, higher highs and lower lows, very similar to that expanding range we've been seeing on the SPX and the SPY, that broadening formation on the hourly time frame. Now we're at lows, chopping about trying to find our home. If our bulls are going to change course, they need to be looking at a break over 33,272.6. I'm crushing my numbers today, guys. You guys watch me for any amount of time, you know that I stumble over the numbers quite a bit, especially those big old ones. The ones that really throw me are like the nat gas where they had like 400 decimal points on. Not necessary, extra confusing for no reason. So if we are going to see the bulls break and confirm a weekly high or low, we need them right now over 33,272. Here, we're looking again for 4-hour lower highs, trying to buy the real estate to pull that off. Hourly time frame looking good. Nice volume climax here for the lows. Bulls pushing up, and 15-minute bulls cruising with 50-minute higher lows. And again, looking at a little bit of a channel here. The longer we stay in this channel without breaking bearish, the more opportunity we have for buying that real estate for those higher low attempts. Quick peek back at SPY. Pulling back a little further than I'd like them to see, and this 5-minute lower high is not ideal either. Bearish inflows. Okay, so now we are seeing ADD tracking price. Volume's picking up. I wonder if anything has shifted anywhere else. Volume here, okay. There we go. All right, so our Dow, trying to buy room for 4-hour higher lows. Bears want to negate that by just crushing through this pattern and breaking 32,639, which would give them a big old hourly bear flag. And then our target for that would just be the weekly level, that 32,468. Certainly within the realms of possibility, this phase 1 and phase 2 and phase 3 would be pretty much a full extension of that bear flag play. On the Russell 2000 side of things, we had our double weekly inside bars. Those broke bearish. We knocked out the first target, got to the second target, and we didn't get very far beyond that right now. If we go to the daily time frame, we're going to see that we have a daily higher low support right here, and we just dipped below that. So what that means is we've triggered a lot of stop losses that should have been triggered at that point, and we have flushed, but we didn't get a lot of follow through so far on the daily time frame, and our hourly time frame saw a pretty decent little bounce and hourly higher low. So that bodes well for the bull side of things. Again, same idea, looking for a 4-hour higher low. Here's our expanding ranges. We see it more clearly on the S&P side of things. We did dip below that, but it seems to be intact here. So 4-hour inside bars right now. This closes in an hour and 22 minutes. Bulls want to break 181. Nope, 1891.10. Looking for 4-hour lower high under, let's say, 1912.71. So I think we're going to have a pretty good battle going into the end of the day. Some profit taking coming in a little bit earlier than I would anticipate. So before we move on, I'm seeing we're going to need to rearrange this weekly call a little bit. Less time on the indices because I'm going to have to jump into tickers right away. All right, 15-minute time frame. Bulls need to hold. They don't want to, they need to. Hold 395.12. We've already retreated far enough down that we're likely to see a lower high into balance for the remainder of the day. If bulls can change course here. 2 minutes stair step down. Potential volume climax. Bulls looking for 395.80. Then a lower high under 397.11. QQQ, how are you doing? Very similar in structure, I imagine. Close to 2-minute oversold. I like the volume climax here. Bears taking a little breather, looking for bulls over 291.10 for 5-minute lower high attempt. All right, let's go check out some tickers. Shoot, I'm going to run out of time. We're going to have to go over today. Okay, I promised $1. I know I did that. Don't want to skip that. All right, so the DXY has been sideways. And it was really what dragged us down this morning. And then we got into this 5-minute equilibrium early on at the same time that we had this wedge over on SPY. Or the SPX. And I deleted my drawings. But let's say it was over here. If you go back in the stream, that's what I had deleted in order to more effectively draw the other stuff. let's call it this. Okay, we had a wedge. That wedge broke bull at the same time that our DXY had its little equilibrium that didn't really do anything, but it was enough for the bulls to take an opportunity to make a move. Since then, we have been range trading sideways. So when we end up range trading and chopping around, we start to build up pressure. And you can see how this 5-minute RSI line, this back burner, has been creeping up on us. So what that means is if we flush down to 105, we are going to be in 5-minute oversold territory. It's going to be a lot easier than it was if we were going to try to bring the price down over here. Another thing to look at is we got this big old anaconda squeeze on the 15-minute time frame. So what this tells us is that we are having that compression. Like we're seeing the volume, so to speak, moving sideways, the price continually getting constricted and squeezed, and the trend, as indicated by this guy, the green line, is nowhere to be found. Our EMAs are coming together, everything is coming together, and it reaches that jack-in-the-box moment where you end up getting some sort of break. Now the general rule for these types of squeezes is they continue in the direction from which they came. So here we see one. Let's go back. How far do we got to go? Where's one that is similar in structure? Not really. No, I'm not going to spend too much time looking. Well, whatever. Here is our area on the hourly time frame. Looks very much like a bull flag. Our 4-hour time frame is a 4-hour inside bar. It is 3 hours away from building another version of itself, a mini-me. But ultimately, hey, we got ourselves a big old squeezer on the 15-minute time frame. So we're going to be looking for bulls to break out of this. The general rule, as I was trying to allude to, is we have direction, we have compression that generally continues in the direction from whence it came. So we're going to be looking for bulls over 105.28, and that is going to be bad for our market bulls who are trying so desperately to try and set those daily higher lows in launch into those 4-hour lower highs. If we see a bit of a breakdown or even continued lackadaisical structure, then that gives those market bulls a bit of opportunity for those 4-hour lower highs. If we see that breakout, then we'll watch out, because that's going to be flying in the face of those market bulls' attempt today into the afternoon. Okay. And how much EMA you have set up? Can please. I suspect you're asking me what EMAs I'm using. 12 and 26. And 8 on this chart. If you go to our website, I can't share that. If you are an enterprising guy, there's rules on TradingView about what I'm allowed to link. If you're an enterprising girl or guy, you can Google ChartGuys and you can find some free stuff that's going to give you what you need. TradingView friends don't like us posting a lot of stuff, which is fair because who wants spammy links everywhere, right? EMA 12, EMA 26, that's what you're looking at. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is getting punched in the face earlier today, dragging down. In fact, it almost looked like the miners were dragging down Bitcoin with the way that they were responding. But the daily time frame for Bitcoin overall is still not doing too bad, right? We've got a good potential for a daily higher low at 22,520. Same idea, 4-hour time frame has room for lower highs to buy real estate for a trend change attempt. Right now, big wick down, good volume climax into not a lot of follow through in an inside bar, hammer and go. So bulls are looking to carry this momentum forward, and they just got to maintain 50-minute higher lows over that flush low. Let's go take a look at gold. Gold had some cool setups on the weekly time frame because I'm going to leave all those charts on there. We are at weekly EMA 26. We have a stair step down. We are very strong on the weekly time frame, looking for a weekly higher low. So a tick in our bull case, check log? Check log? I don't know, guys. Daily is approaching oversold territory. So what we're looking for is a sign of strength with the weekly EMA as support We know we're extended on the daily time frame. We just want to see some sort of rationale. I like it on the weekly. I'm eyeballing entries, trying to find our first sign. And if we're going to play the weekly time frame, again, we're going to be watching the 4 hour. That's going to be key for us. And it's going to be similar to what we've been saying a lot today, is looking for the 4 hour lower highs and higher lows. Right now, hourly bulls are looking at the pop from having skipped down and skimmed across the top of that weekly EMA with that double bottom. And now we're just looking to be able to carry that strength forward, get hourly higher low, carry it forward more for 4 hour lower high. I really like the weekly setup. It's not quite here for a long entry for me yet. If you want a super scaly boy into it, which I love to do, I'm gonna look for an hourly higher low, come down and see if we can't carry it away there. All right, let's go look at some tickers. Actually, let's go look at the VIX first. VIX is over and broken out of this little wedge that people were chatting about. So I'm going to draw that real quickly. It looked like this. Or no, it did look like this. I can't remember. Yeah, more like that one. Anyway, we're out of that level. We do have a little bit of work to do, though, because we have weekly resistance at 23.76. We're still in the area of, we're kind of okay with this. We got spooked a little bit with this daily push to the upside, and the weekly drop on Tuesday got us a little excited as well. But we seem to be dealing with that okay. And we're still not too far away from the magical $20 level, which is a good mark for how much fear and volatility there is. If bulls break over 23.76, then we are going to be looking a little bit higher and looking for some more volatility, because 25.84 is going to be the next resistance. And we do not want to see that break, because if that level breaks at 23.76, we're looking at weekly lower lows and higher highs, which opens the door to just more volatility in general. And it's good for some people. Okay. Shoot. We have 14 minutes left. I'm pulling a Lamont here, my friends. All right, I'm just going to start looking at some ticker requests, and we're just going to go through today. We'll start with the chart, guys. Hello, chart friends. Adrastos looking to swing long on the QQQQQQ. Trying to nail a temporary bottom. You and I both, buddy. Who isn't trying to nail that bottom every single time? Swinging long. All right, so same rules apply. Do we see signs of reversal? Do we have any reason to believe yet? Not really. All right, we can keep on going down. Weekly time frame does not look exceptionally set for reversal. We got a bunch of daily or weekly support levels. Daily time frame looks very Microsoft-ish, where we're just skipping around and not really paying attention to too much, so quite a bit unknown. I know we should be looking at probably just inverting our, is it Control I? What's the magical button that inverts the chart? Adjust? Nope. It doesn't matter. We'll just work with TQQ. Ultimately, if you're looking for a swinging, trying to get that bottom in, I'd be waiting. We're not quite here yet, at least on the QQQ side of things. So if we can see a move up and then a 4 hour higher low, that's going to give us a little bit more. But right now, we're looking like we're at a short-term area low or close to oversold. So I would be looking for a bit of an hourly pop here, and we may just be getting it. Ultimately, it's looking like a little bear flag. So not ready quite yet to swing long on the TQQQ. It's looking more bear flaggish with that pullback on the hourly time frame. IKBR swing long. You got it. IBKR swing long. What am I doing wrong? Letters. That's what you're doing wrong. Interactive Brokers Group. Nice daily chart. Very nice. Getting real tired of that drawing button. Okay, so the weekly time frame is skipping it near overbought conditions again, giving us another week of indecision. So indecision, indecision. The question when we get these and we see upper and lower ranges is, do we have a defined channel to play in? Do we have some semblance of bull flag on the daily time frame? The weekly is showing us hesitation and I don't want to say risk, but definitely hesitation. Lower volume, okay? So then we go to the daily time frame and we ask ourselves about that channel. Can we see something? We certainly see a lot of supply up here because we keep dipping into this and being sold into. We're seeing not a lot of follow through beyond that. So if that demand can pick up and we can get back up into that territory and take out whatever this chunky zone of poison gas is that is stopping the bulls from advancing, then we look a lot better on the weekly time frame as well. So again, the question, can we draw it? And yes, we can, I think. We'll just make it work, and we're going to look for that clarity on other time frames because it's not on the hourly. It's not here either. Overall, I'm not satisfied with that. I don't like that chunky trading type of range. And it's kind of a choppy chart otherwise. So I gotta keep hunting around until I find that clarity, you know? I'm not seeing a lot of clarity in the hourly time frame. The daily time frame looks pretty nice still. The weekly time frame looks great. Not a ton of weakness. And I could look to play an hourly high or low here. I love the back burner in play. There's a lot of support, and we are overall like very strong with, you know, mid-range time frames bearish. That has caused us to get down to these levels. But I kind of like it. So I've been looking for like a good solid hourly high or low attempt to get into a bit of a swing position on it. Because there's like the psychology of the bull flag is here. I just can't draw it. Google for long. Hey, attaboy. Goog L. Where did my other chart go? Yeah. Looking at my XLK overall. Lower highs, lower lows. All right. So the Googs does not got a lot going on for it. It's got a lot of bear momentum. Support 84.86. Daily time frame. It's got another couple gaps before we would hit oversold conditions, so not quite right for a swing here. And it does not mean we can't just have a green day or a higher open on Monday. What it means is we don't have a technical reason for an entry. 4-hour time frame is bearish, and it's really about the hourly here. Big swings down, lower highs, EMA 12. We're approaching EMA 12. If I was going to be swinging, I would be looking bearish because we have this bear flag, and it's looking more bear flaggish on our indices as well. So I would be looking for an hourly trend change. Right now, if I had to play direction, I'd be playing short, and I want an hourly trend change for the bulls as close to that 84.86 as I can get. Mara, sure. So Mara, we are looking for, didn't do this chart today, did I? Hold on. Mara, what happened to my chart? Ah, right, there's a 701. Got it. So this was, one I reviewed today. And we are looking for a couple things. Bulls to break 735 or bears to break $7 psychological. And that was close to yesterday's low. So 701. And we did that in a pretty big way. And we battled around, got a 5-minute equilibrium at that level, broke below, back tested, and then just went right to the target, which is 655. So ultimately, this play is a little bit ahead of Bitcoin. So when we go back to Bitcoin, it didn't have a ton working for it yet. We're looking for the hourly trend change. We got the low and flush, but nothing since then. So not a swing that I'd be interested in getting into until we see some trends develop on Bitcoin again. And I don't want to hold this overnight. By itself, looks like an hourly bear flag as well. CRM long. Hey, Awesemo. Awesemo is convinced by sheer charm and wit to join the Chart Guys community. All right, so CRM, I've not looked at it in a while, and it's still just trucking around inside this nice little flag, or not flag, but this channel. It's pretty clear to see, right? So until we get out of this, like there are a lot of green days, a lot of intraday opportunity, but we're overall swimming upstream. And just like the steelhead, It just takes a tremendous amount of work for them to swim upstream. We want to wait until they're going downstream, right? So, daily trend changes. Bulls need to be over EMA 12. Until then, I will just wait. And perhaps if you're like feeling very, very hot to trot scaling in for a weekly higher low, because that is the most likely outcome, but I'll be waiting, minimize my risk, looking for at least a 4-hour trend change over 166.47. Lots of intraday plays, but again, swimming against the current all the time. 5 minutes left to go, looking like, oh, poor spy bulls. Just, they need to hold that level. Now we got 5-minute robots coming in. Stopped at somebody, that's for sure. QQQ, still struggling, still looking like a bear flag. Okay. Potential targets for spy calls on, and I believe your expiry was April, you said. I don't know. It's not the worst position if you picked spy calls now. Like we're low, right? And we're looking for weekly higher lows. I would just be happy with a weekly 418, man. Like, let's not complicate it. 418 and then 414. Just like take what you can get, scale out on the way up if we can get up. First obstacle. Hey, Andrew. My buddy All Time Highs is here. How you doing, man? Come on over. You owe my kid a ride in your car. Okay, we're going to keep going after the bell here because I do have a few more tickers to do. Let's see here. Bonnie wants to look at JEPI. JEPI looks like a little bit of a dumpster dive situation. Hopefully you're not in a position. I say dumpster dive because we're at a low. And a lot of times when we get into really lows like this, people look at it and think it's a very attractive play. Because, hey, how overextended can we get? We can't go any lower. You absolutely can. You always can. You can go down to trip zeros and beyond. So, JPI, it does look like it's poised for a reversal in the sense that we have downtrend and we have not a gap down, but a significant change in price into a bit of a doji near daily oversold. So we have hesitation. Hesitation is not rationale to enter. It's pause. And that pause comes in the form of expanding range inside an existing pattern. So it's a little bit of a trick because ultimately we're just inside this trend. And I say it's expanding because usually you'd want to draw it like this. Like it's opening up the range. But anyway, there's an existing pattern here. Sorry, we're right in the middle of it. And that pattern is a little bit deceptive. So we're going to wait for an hourly higher low, higher high to give us that inverted head and shoulders type feel before we start looking at long positions. A little bit of a trick on us. Tesla, swing long next week. What's crazy, Osimo, is that you're posting in like 5 places. All of the streams. You gotta bump up those numbers, right? I appreciate that. All right, so Chiff wants to look at Tesla next week. If we get to 179.18 weekly EMA support. What EMA, my friend? Because we can have any support we want. That's the hard part about EMAs. And I don't really care what EMA you use. Like, I don't. It's easier to talk about it if we all use the same one. But all we got to do is just ratchet this around and keep playing with it until we find an EMA that happens to line up with whatever our thesis is. Not that Tiff's doing that, but I just don't know which one she's talking about. Weekly inside bar. Very helpful. We have a big weekly run. This is not outright bearish, on Tesla, this is nice. It's a weekly inside bar. It's helpful. So, bull break of 209.71, target 218.17, low to low. Nice simple rules for inside bars. Daily time frame. Trying to get a daily high or low. There's our weekly low. So it doesn't really matter too much what happens in here. Let's see where we wake up. We can play some intraday plays, but next week I want to break one of those inside bar levels. Okay? If we get an hourly uptrend, let's play it to resist. If we get a downtrend, let's wait until well, if we open lower, if we open right where we are today, I'm just going to wait because we could very easily just have some more choppy days. 191.78, that's what I want to break there. If you want to go long, you got 4-hour resist, you got daily resist, you got to wait for those to develop and higher lows and so on. You're going to get chopped up a bit. BA for swing short. Hey, Chris. All right, that's the market closed. Thanks for sticking with me if you still are. We'll finish out these tickers. We'll figure out a little bit better format. But maybe we said earlier on Fridays. I don't know. So BA does not have a ton of support, but we do have former areas of resistance, which often become areas of support, in which case I want to plug in that level. I want to make it big and huge. And then I want to go this way. And I want to see, hey, have you guys thought about this before? And wouldn't you know it, this has become an issue a handful of times before. All right. So that's kind of cool. Handy dandy, as Andrew would say. Now that's good for us because as long as we are above that level, we can be a little bit optimistic about this direction. But if we fall below, we change our tune a little bit. So if you want to look for those long entries, we're going to look for like really, really short-term stuff. I don't think I would want to swing it over the weekend, but I would position myself on Monday for like a nice trade and then trying to go long with that as my support level and stop out level. So it's beat up. Ooh, and I don't like what it's doing here. If we open under, then I'm going to be looking for shorts in the opposite direction. Yeah, swing short. At this point, that's looking better. Oh, Chris just bought it. Maybe not. Maybe. Oh, sorry. Chris, make up your mind, bro. He's going back and forth on this. He's been in and out of that position like 4 times now. All right. What's next? Swinging BA. See very long. Always willing to change direction. That's good. TLT. TLT on the daily. All right, daily time frame not giving me much to work with. Weekly doji indecision, but that's just that chop. And we're ultimately in a bit of a weekly equilibrium, which makes sense. So weekly lower highs and weekly higher lows. So we're going to be looking for 4-hour trend changes, if anything. Not a lot of clarity here either. Not quite a bear flag. Yeah, we're just going back and forth in like this range. Where'd my cool, handy dandy rectangle go? Like this. Get me out of this mess and then we'll talk. Because we're just slopping around back and forth. Overall, I would hope for, and based only on this low into the CQ, that we would get a bit of reversal and continue in the weekly equilibrium. Next. Boyle. Oh, goodness. Boyle's a nat gas ETF, like it's related to that one. Daily time frame is ripping. Just a lot. I think you guys are like synthetically. No, not even synthetically. I outright accuse Jay Cyber of going out and buying natural gas just to prop this up. Daily time frame, 3 candlesticks up. Old classic pattern. 3 green crows. No, 3 green soldiers. That's what it was called. If you have 3 green days, you're likely overextended on short term and need to consolidate. So we get daily resistance at $2.66.5. How do you say that? 665ths of a cent? I don't know. 4-hour time frame looks fine. Getting close to overbought. So getting close to overbought here. Hourly has got to be also close. 15-minute time frame. So we're really close to stack overbought conditions. And that means we have multiple time frames that are all overbought at the same time. And those often result when very, very eager bulls sort of like have a last gasp of FOMO and they push just an extreme level and then they exhaust themselves and we see some reversal. So right now, I don't see a lot in the way of the bulls. They're very strong, clearly. No real red flags, but I would be looking to scale out if we can get into that FOMO type of feel, or at least be more protective and taking some profits here. But bulls are in complete control of the nat gas. If Chris could move the markets, there's been times where I scare myself, and it's not like I'm trading with $1 bazillion, but like on tickers that were less liquid than I anticipated, and you can see your order impacting. A little bit sketchy. Happens to Andrew all the time. Guys just throwing those millions around like it's nothing. All right, let me go make sure I haven't missed anything for you, my friends over on the Trading View. We've talked about the dollar. We've talked about gold. Talked about those EMA questions. So we got those sorted out. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you watching on the cool, super cool Trading View platform. Four-hour inside bars. Keep an eye on that. And for our friends over on the YouTube, we got a couple. All right, Maine for Joe. Sure, Joe. Hopefully you're still watching. Streaming a little bit longer than I anticipated. Main Street Capital Corporation. Beautiful weekly chart. So weekly uptrend. We're above EMA 12, above EMA 26, and peeling away from it. A little bit of profit taking today. Of course, we dipped into daily overbought. Who wouldn't be happy with that? It's always nice to take overbought conditions. Here is a cool little handy dandy trick. Let's go find a nice chart it works on. I don't think we got one here. Maybe the 4-hour. Okay. Here's your handy dandy hot weekly tip for your RSI. If you are trading in an uptrend and your RSI keeps peaking above overbought conditions, when we have a trend, many times your RSI gets short-term overbought in an uptrend when you, I'm just trying to find this highlighter. When price hits a high, obviously, but we remain in trend. So we can sell when we're overbought, and then we can get back in when our RSI is about 45. So here's 49. We come back to overbought right around here, and we can come back and, well, let's assume we follow those rules. RSI is about 45. All right. Now we're back up. So RSI levels in overbought conditions, and then in downtrends, it's the inverse. In a downtrend, our RSI oversold levels can indicate trend tops for profit taking. Okay, hot tip. Looks like balance on the hourly time frame into a big old beautiful equilibrium. Yeah, that's pretty. I wish we had more time for it. So just playing the EQ levels. Let's see where we wake up on Monday. Right? It looks like a nice chart. I don't like the volume and the profit taking. I love the equilibrium. This is going to be a context awareness play for us tomorrow or Monday. It's all about playing that EQ. Come into the pregame show, and I'll see if I can get Lori to take a look at it for us on Monday morning. You have to post a reminder, though, in the pregame chat, okay? I'll be watching. SQ for Michael. So earnings volatility didn't move us around a lot. That's good. Then we have to play the chart. So we're looking for daily lower highs. If we can get over 78.02, then our resist is 82.70. I don't like the fact that like you had this Marabuzzo close and then just plummet. That's bad for the vibe. And I'm looking for 4-hour lower highs and hourly balance. Yeah, not the most clarity on this chart, that's for sure. So if we were to open here, I would be looking to short 80.90 on any short-term bull pops. I'm going to have aggressive bears waiting there. And beyond that, I would look for an equilibrium to finish playing out. This is very cautious bull control, but it's not like, not incredibly interested bulls either. You know what I mean? This is like that sort of thing in regular trading hours. That's what I want to see. Or increasing bull volume. This is sort of just dawdly. Okay, I think we covered everything. Where did we end up on SPY? Hey, not so bad. Got ourselves a green day on SPY. That's good. So we're going to be looking for our 401.95 area to be a resistance on Monday morning. Should we get anywhere close to that? And hey, QQQ, a little bit of a doji. So another move down into indecision is good for the bulls. Believe it or not, and we held this daily support, also good for the bulls. So we could see the QQQ bulls trying to stave off this flag and scare the pants off some bears Monday morning. That's it for me. Thank you for joining me. Feedback way more than welcome for this format. Obviously, we need to tighten up a little bit as far as what we cover. But if there are things you would like me to focus on more or less, feel free to let me know. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Have a great weekend. And I'll let you know what happens with